have little demos with each of these done. Nothing big, but just a few card demos.
I think we're ready. I think we're ready. Look at what we have today. Oop, look who's here. Janet's here. And look at all the fun stuff we get to hear about today. Janet took this mega pad, the Flower Garden 6x6 mega pad from Carta Bella, and turned it into some wonderful, wonderful items that she is going to share with us today. So while we're waiting for everybody to jump on, hello, it's Friday. Good morning, Robin and Christine and Cheryl. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate you tuning in and watching us. We're memory bound in Iowa, and I'm just going to go ahead and give our phone number right now. We do have an online store, and you're welcome to shop online, but if you don't like that and you'd rather call, our number is 515-965-1102. But it looks like so far everybody that's jumping on is all of our regulars. We're so glad you're here because today is going to be absolutely delightful. How's that for a new word? Delightful. I don't think I've used that one recently.
I love it. I hope I can live up to it.
We even have Patricia from California, Janet. You should feel pretty good. What is it, about 7:30 out there?
Good morning, Patricia.
Yes.
Hope you got the coffee on.
And we even have Rose from the Quad Cities, Jerry. So hello, everyone. Wow. You are in for a spectacular day. How's that for another new word, Janet?
You are
spectacular, spectacular and delightful. Well, because I know, Janet, oh my gosh, I haven't even been over here to see everything. It was like 9:30 and I'm like, Janet, it's 9:30. And that's the way it usually is every day. We're running. Oh my gosh, Janet, these are just beautiful.
Well, thank you. I've been a busy girl.
You have been. Well, I think our we can go ahead and get started. It's Friday and everybody's ready to start their weekend.
Absolutely. Well, we'll give you something to do for the
There
weekend.
you go. Sure. Janet has it all planned out for you. This is Janet's very own Maker Mania.
Well, it is. It is. I was kind of doing my own Maker Mania at home. I just, as I said to Kelly, I just couldn't stop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, in fact, Kelly gave me the mega pad to play with, and then I chose a package of enamel dots and ephemera, and look what I have left.
Oh my gosh.
I used all the ephemera.
Every single thing?
Every single bit.
Wow.
And that was my personal goal that I set for myself. I wasn't going to stop until this was gone. And this was gone.
Gosh, that's awesome.
And believe it or not, I still have paper left, so this could still continue.
So it is a mega pad.
It is a mega pad, yes.
Okay, and Mary, she's going to be my sidekick today. She's got out her dictionary.
Oh my gosh.
So Mary, please type in words that I should be using today to describe Janet's projects. Because we oh gosh, what did I do? We can't, I just clicked a button I shouldn't have. I think they're still here though. Okay, I think we're ready to get started.
All right, great.
Very good.
Well, thanks for having me back again, Dawn. I've been here twice this week, which is pretty
Yay!
exciting.
It's a great week when Janet is here twice.
So Kelly suggested a while back that I make some projects with the Megapad, which was just so much fun. And I don't often make samples. I usually make kits, so it was really fun just to kind of turn my attention in a different direction and just make a whole bunch of things that I felt inspired to do.
Awesome.
So I have 7 different projects, categories of projects, and I could still be going, Dawn, but I had to stop at some point.
Like we said, Maker Mania.
Yes, it was, for sure. So I have a layout, I have some cards, I have a mini book, I have a coaster, I have some more cards, and I have a banner.
So Janet, do you know right offhand what products they would need to make everything kind of starting out? I'm putting you on the spot, but kind of starting out like what we do for Maker Mania, where everybody gets like a kit.
Sure.
So what would they need?
Well, I would suggest you start with the pad, which is right there behind you, Dawn.
Okay. All right.
And of course, the enamel dots.
All right, which are beautiful colors.
And Yes, and a package of the ephemera. There are 2 different styles. You could use either. So that for sure.
So 3 items.
And then if you want to make a layout, I did use the 12 by 12 versions of the same paper.
Okay, all right.
I only used 3 different patterns, and then I used some solids.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then for the banner, if you wanted to make the banner, you would just need some of the banner die cut pieces
Okay.
that you can string together.
All right.
If you wanted to make the mini book, I used the waterfall enclosure, which is super fun. This is intended to be put inside a mixed media project or something else, but it works great as a standalone mini book.
Oh,
So
I
that
can't
was
wait.
Super fun. Beyond
can't
that,
wait.
you can kind of mix and match with your own dies or punches or whatever you have.
Super.
To make it your own.
All right. Very good.
So that's kind of the basics.
Okay, super.
All
When
right.
we can come back and look at this at the end after you see what she's made, but I just wanted everyone to have kind of an idea
Yes.
of what it took to do what you're making today.
That's great. Well, I usually like to start with a layout, and I did use the 12 by 12 papers for this, and I paired the collection, Dawn, with craft. I tend to like to do my backgrounds in a neutral color, such as craft or white, and I especially, for whatever reason, I really like the look of the craft with this collection.
It
I
looks
just
great.
feel like it just really brought it together. And the other thing that I wanted to try out on this layout is using some techniques or dies that we typically associate with card making and using them on a layout instead.
I love it.
Because I think sometimes we forget to pick up our dies and use them on pages, and we just relegate them to card making. It doesn't have to be that way.
I like that idea. That's very good information.
So I'll just walk you through a couple of things with this, and I'll show you a couple of little tricks that I did. So this is a 2-page layout. It's on craft cardstock. And Dawn, this is my signature. I rounded the outside to the
Yes,
corners.
you did. I'm trying to get back far enough to see both sides. Very good.
And the reason I like to do that is I just think it helps bring the 2 pages together, and it kind of draws the eye inward. That sounds really official, but I think it actually does have the effect of doing that. And for this layout, basically, I just cut panels, or cut the blue into 2 pieces that are slightly different sizes, and put them down the center of the page. And then I cut strips along the bottom of varying different widths, and then cut a V-notch in each end. And that's kind of a technique that we see a lot on cards, but you can certainly do the same thing on a layout. And those strips extend across both pages, and they kind of serve as something to ground or for your elements to sit on. And we talk about that in card making. Same principle applies here. So beyond that, I just cut mats in various sizes, and then added my ephemera pieces. And I popped up some, of course, just to add a little bit of dimension. And I specifically wanted to point out this part over here, Dawn. The alphabet set that I used was the Tim Holtz alpha set with a shadow, but I didn't use the shadow of it. And just like we do on card making, I don't know if you can tell, I stacked up 3 different cuts of the same letter and glued them together just to give a little bit more dimension. And this to me is sort of akin to what you would get by using a thicker or an alphabet sticker that has a little bit of a chunkiness to it.
Thickers is the name of the alphabet stickers from American Crafts.
Yes.
They call them thickers because they are thicker.
And so this is kind of like making your own thickers.
I like it. That's so cute.
So, and this is a way to give your title a little bit more chunkiness, a little more prominence, a little more presence, I think, on the page. Do the same thing in card making. So that really works well on a page.
Who would have thought to make plaid little flowers like that? I love that
well,
right
thank
there.
you.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what I wanted to do here, a lot of times when I make a layout, I try to repeat the same element or color 3 times.
Okay.
And you've done floral design, Dawn. They always say in floral design,
yes,
odd numbers are the most pleasing to the eye. So since I had this big pink piece here, I had one additional one over here, and I wanted to add a 3rd one to kind of give that
I love it.
3 look. So each time I use a color, I try to use it in an odd number. So we have black, 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 black. That's 5 I guess. I may not be scientific about it, but that's kind of what I had in mind.
It looks very, again, I'm going to try to back up enough. It looks very balanced.
Well, thank you. That's what I was going for. So
you are getting tons and tons of hearts.
Oh,
Everyone is loving this.
Great. Well, then I wanted to talk just a little bit about this die situation here. I have not used the layered dies very, very much. And so I thought I would just quickly explain what this is. That's what you were pointing out here, Dawn. This is a two-part die that has a stem piece, and then it has a second piece for the little berries. And we do not have this one in at the moment.
Okay, all right, they're asking.
But we have similar dies. But just to show everybody how this works.
Do you know what the name of that is?
That one is Bloom.
Bloom. Okay, so if you want that one, write down Bloom and then give us a call or send us an email. We'll get you on the list. But I think what Janet was referring to is there are other ones.
Yes.
This one's Brushstroke Flowers number 3, Brushstroke Flowers number 2, which has some good sizes on there, different sizes, small and large.
Yeah.
And then this one is Brushstroke Flowers number 1. But the one that Janet used on her layout is Bloom, and we will be getting that.
Can I have that one back, Dawn, please, if you, just any of them. Thank you so much. So on the cover of these dies, when you get them, you're going to have a picture that will have an idea of the colors that you can use to create each flower. So this pink flower has 1, 2, 3, 4 different dyes used to create that look. It's really not hard. And what I did, I kind of used them in, I think, maybe an unconventional way, Dawn. I didn't use all the layers because I wanted a simpler look. So, for instance, for this rose, and I pulled them out here and I put them on a magnet that I happen to have at home. The rose has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces.
Holy buckets.
And that's what I said, holy buckets. I'm not going to do that. So I just used 3 of the pieces. So to do that, and here I've just got 2 that are cut out of blue, which I thought is a really pretty tone on tone. So I cut out the big piece out of blue. Then there's a separate little piece here out of blue. And then I'm just going to add this third one out of the same blue. And I really love kind of that subtle tone on tone. So not any contrast, but a little bit of dimension that you get. And so on each die cut, there's like a little embossed area that shows you exactly where to place your second die. I'm going to have to tilt this just a little bit to get it in the right place. I guess it goes this way.
I've used this die before. I like it
It's
too,
just
but I
so
do like
pretty.
how it gives you like the lines to match up.
It's pretty easy. So you don't have to worry about it either because on the back side, it actually has a code for you. So it says flower pink 1, flower pink 2, so you know which pieces go together. And then for the leaves, it's just a 2-part piece. So you'll just make one out of darker green and one out of a little bit lighter green, or you could even do a pattern, which I think would be fun. And then you just glue the secondary piece over the top of the first one. And I don't know about you, Dawn, but I just think that's so pretty.
It's beautiful.
Even out of tone on tone.
Right.
It's just a really subtle way to give dimension without a distracting color. So for this rose here and this rose here, I just used 2 shades of pink and then 2 shades of blue.
Oh my gosh, and there's her enamel dots she added.
Yes. So super easy. I would say if you're interested in the colorized dyes or the layered dyes, don't be afraid of them. And you don't necessarily have to use all the layers.
Right, that's a very good one.
You can surely simplify.
Is the branch with circle flowers the same die?
Yes, it's part of the bloom set.
Okay.
It's part of the bloom set. So for that one, this is the main piece, and then you cut a secondary piece. Which to me these look kind of like coffee beans.
They do look like coffee beans.
You cut a secondary piece out of.
We're going to have Teresa get this set and see what she can come up with. She'll have to make a coffee card with the coffee bean.
I think that's what they look like. So,
they do.
So I cut the coffee beans out of this plaid.
I just love that.
But beyond that, there are a lot of just good basic greenery pieces in this set. So I mixed and matched a couple of
I was going to say,
ones.
and you've got 3 different colors of green there, which I think really helps just add to the overall look.
Yes.
I don't always do that, so thank you for doing that and telling us, because I really like that.
I always think if there's a green that goes with it, start with the collection. Start with that, and then go a little bit darker.
Okay.
And that gives you depth. And then you can go a little bit lighter too, so that you have those 3 different colors of green that all work together. Think about a bouquet that you would pick in the wild or in real life. All the greens are not the same.
Absolutely.
So it's fun to mix and match your greens, and I think that gives you a little bit more interest on your page.
They would like to know what glue you used for that.
You know what? This is my handy dandy. What's it called?
It's the fine
needle,
tip, fine tip glue.
And I just use the tacky glue,
the Scotch tacky glue.
Yeah, and this has a pin that you just insert in it, and it keeps your tip clean, like so. And I have decorated mine.
I see that.
It does not come with this lovely plaid.
You can put whatever you want to on it. We'll always know that's Janet's.
Yes, and occasionally it's so gross that I have to peel it off and redecorate it. So that's that. I wanted to also talk about this waterfall element, because a lot of times I think it's fun to include an interactive element on my pages. And this one just opens up and provides plenty of extra room for photos. So you could put a photo here, 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 here.
Are you going to tell us how you made that?
I am.
Oh, nice. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, so basically, all of these pieces are the same width. They all measure 5.5 inches by 4 inches.
Okay.
So don't you love my Fazoli's ruler today?
Yeah. Well, that's not the same one you had earlier in the week.
I have a collection of rulers. So they're all 5.5 by 4 inches.
And Fazoli's, you can mail the check for your advertisement to 641 North Ankeny.
The reason I came up with 5.5 inches is that's what I had room for. So you could make this any size that you want. But the basic idea is as many levels that you want to your waterfall, you make that many pieces, and they're all cut the same size. And the idea is that you're going to score 1/2 inch along one of the short edges.
Okay.
And then just add them to your page. And you want to always start with the bottom one.
Okay.
So I'm just going to pretend this is our page here. So I have added score tape along the folded back edge, and I'm going to put this on the page, just like so. So that's the first one. Then I've done the same thing with another one. They're all, again, the same size.
Are they scored at 1/2 inch?
1/2 inch in.
All right.
Yeah. And so you want then to add this next piece so that it's butted up against the folded top of the first piece.
Okay.
And then you see that gives that nice 1/2 inch spread. And then here's the last one. So I wrote the dimensions on here so everybody would have those.
All right.
And I'm going to do the same thing here. Just line this up like so, and then push it back.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, I love how you added all the colors to the page. Very neat.
That's how that goes. So
Okay.
super, super easy.
So let's see. Was that Robin? Robin would like to know then, do you just still slip this down into your page protector?
You would.
Just like this?
You would. And what you would need to do then, if you wanted to access the photos, is you would just need to pull it out.
Sure.
And I suppose if you really wanted to, Dawn, you could cut a slit or some kind of a thing in your page protector to place these on the outside, but I don't usually worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you could do is if you wanted the waterfall to go this way, I mean, you could certainly make it go that way,
right.
depending on what you have room for on your page.
Yep.
But this way, think how many pictures that we can fit on this layout.
Right,
1,
a
2,
lot.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
A lot.
So I was thinking garden pictures would be great on this one, Dawn.
Are you going to add your garden pictures to it?
We could.
I love it. It's so pretty.
Well, good. Well, thank you. So that's all for the layout.
Mary, or my sidekick, I don't see any new words that I should be using. Come on, Mary, hop to it. A screenshot of measurements. Yes, Lori, I'll take pictures after we're done here and post them.
We will do that for sure. All right. So when I'm done with a layout, my goal is to always try to make some cards with whatever I have left over.
Okay.
And that's always been a good idea. I'm not always great about doing it, but I'm trying to do a better job because I need to build up my card stash. Once you have...
Okay. All right. Just a second, Janet. We are being asked if this is a kit. This is not a kit. What they are using today is the 6x6 Mega Pad. So it's not a kit, but she is using the 6x6 Mega Pad, the ephemera, the enamel dots, and then some cardstock. But that explains what she is doing today. She's doing her own Maker Mania, giving ideas.
Some ideas and hopefully some inspiration.
Okay.
So anyway, when I'm done making a layout, Dawn, I always like to make cards, or at least I try to make cards, because I think it's a great way to build up your stash. When you've already picked out colors that match and go together, that's the time to make some cards before you put everything away.
That's
when
great
you
idea.
have all the stuff out on your desk, just stop, clean it up, make a few cards.
Good idea.
So I was thinking about, when I was preparing for this, what are the cards that I usually make and that you can almost always make from your scraps from a layout? So I came up with 1, 2, 3 different designs that I think you can almost always make from scraps.
All right.
And so I wanted to show those to you today. So starting with the first one, if you have coordinated pattern paper strips, which a lot of us do,
Okay.
because on this layout I cut a lot of strips.
Yes.
So I've got some left over. You can almost always make a strip card. That doesn't sound good.
Strip card. Holy cow! Mary says, "Holy cow!"
A diagonal strip card or a vertical strip card. And these are just made with 1-inch strips.
I just love this one, and
That's
it's
super easy.
so easy.
Yeah,
but
and
I love
literally
it.
Just scraps. And again, I use the scraps from the 12 by 12 paper. The scraps are really nice. They have a little bit of a texture about them. And then just added a piece of ephemera, and then a die cut, and then a little greenery, and the ephemera in the middle. So could not be easier. And instead of Nuvo drops, since I had the enamel dots, I just used the enamel dots instead of Nuvo drops until I ran out of them, and then I had to use.
Life is better with friends like you.
So,
that's how we feel about our friends at Memory Bound.
For sure.
Life is better with all of you that watch our videos every day.
100%. So what I would do is I would just tuck these in my card box and keep the insides blank, and they could be used for a friend situation, or when you just need to send a little encouragement. For sure, these are good cards to have on hand.
Gosh, Janet,
So that's that.
you just do such a wonderful job of breaking it down for us.
Gosh. The other type of card that thank you, Don, that I like to create is what I call a kind of a grid card. And but I'm using the word grid kind of loosely here. That is just taking the small elements and kind of lining them up so that they fit together in sort of a grid pattern.
Oh my gosh, I would have never done that, ever.
So, well, easy to do, and a lot of times when you're trying to use leftover ephemera, you've got those little pieces, right?
Right, you do.
So I find myself, the smaller pieces I have, the smaller I like to make the card base. Because then you don't have a lot of extra room to fuss with. So this is a cut down card, kind of a more like an A1 size card, and I just added pieces of ephemera. These are all ephemera on the front. So what I will do is I tend to spread out my ephemera and just kind of line them up and see how they fit together, and then just put them on front of the card. So that's a really fun and easy card. Here's another one. This is the same size that we talked about the other day, the little note cards.
Okay.
And same thing, just one piece of ephemera, and since I needed something over here, I just die cut some little flowers. Put a little piece of pattern paper across the bottom. So again, using scraps from this layout. And then I had some extra leftover green dot from something else to line the envelope. And I think, who wouldn't like to get a little card like that?
Well, it's adorable. And I would have never thought about using all my little pieces on a grid, like you said. I think that's great.
Super easy. I tend to like a real minimal style. I don't like a lot of fuss on my cards and my layouts. I like everything to have an intention for being there. And so this is a very simple grid card. I just cut it down to, I think it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I used an elongated piece here, and since this was very long, I also used a long piece of greenery. And you might recognize that.
I do recognize that.
Yeah. One little flower, and then just to add a little bit more black, 2 of the enamel dots. So I think this
So you've got your black, black, black.
Yeah.
And green, green, green. Oh my gosh, yes.
I think if you start being aware of that kind of harmony in your projects, you might be happier with the outcome. You know, if you just spend a little bit of time thinking about, okay, how am I repeating colors and how am I repeating elements, then at least in my experience, I've been happier with the outcome.
Well, I love it because sometimes you make a card or a page and you're looking at it and you're like, ooh, what's wrong with this?
Yeah.
But I love your things that you have to pay attention to, the threes and the
repetition of color, the repetition of shape. The spacing is another thing that to me makes a big difference. If you pay attention to the spacing between elements and then around the outside, you can see that the spacing is pretty consistent. So if you just make sure that you've got equal spacing between and a cushion around the outside, I think that improves the quality as well.
Wow.
Those are just things that I like.
Great
I like to
tips.
pay attention to design, I guess is the main point.
Love it.
So now here's another card design that if you have extra cardstock, and a lot of times I seem to have like a 4 by 12 piece of white cardstock or craft cardstock, I sometimes like to make a card that opens not on the side, that has a fold at the top. So if you have a 4 by 12 piece of cardstock like this, when you fold this in half, you can get a top folding card, which is different than what we seem to make around
Right,
here.
right. We always make
side
side folding, yes.
So to make this card, I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches, like so, and just fold it in half. And this happens to be a 12-inch piece, so I'm just going to cut it off so that it's 5.5 inches long, like so.
So you've turned it into an A2 size card.
It is an A2 size card. But what's different is that the fold is at the top. So for these cards, what I did is I just cut away part of the front of the card, 3/4 inch cutaway on the front. So
Lori wants to be Janet when she grows up.
Oh, you probably don't. I'm just going to cut away 3/4 inch. Make sure I'm doing this correctly on the right hand side, and I'm going to stop when I get to that fold. So I've got this little piece cut away, and I can just trim that off if I want to.
Okay.
But I'm just going to glue it down.
Oh.
And then I don't have to worry about that raw edge.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
just gonna glue
Okay,
that down.
that's a little tip right there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just glued down. And then I think, Dawn, just because I can, I'm going to round my corners.
Mary says her scrap folder is going to get smaller.
Well, good.
That's a good tip. Okay, what she's using, this is a scoring blade. Fiskars does have scoring blades that you can purchase with a regular blade, and they just fit right in the trimmer.
And so I rounded the 2 outside corners of that piece of my card base just to, again, kind of draw the eye inward. And I have cut this little piece that's going to go right here. So I want to round the same corners. And I'm using a very old corner rounder that we no longer carry, but we do have similar corner rounders. No one can get by without a corner rounder.
No, I use them too.
Gotta have them. Sure. All right, so this piece is going to go right here, right to cover that inside that we cut off. I am not a sit-down crafter, Dawn. You know what? I'm going to make a quick adjustment adjustment here. If you want to pan elsewhere.
Oh, Janet needs to make an adjustment. It didn't line up.
It did not line up.
All right, so we're going to come over here, and we're going to go over here.
Whilst I fix this.
Well, we're going to keep Janet in the background so we can see what she's doing. How she's having to.
An emergency repair.
Emergency repair. Okay. Look at all the fun things that she's using. Okay. Can we come back?
You can come back now.
Okay, we're coming back.
These things happen in real life when you're on live TV.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to place this here, and this is going to go down the side, like so.
All right.
And again, I'm just using scraps from that layout.
Oh, we have the best customers. They're just making me laugh.
Oh, good.
Oh, my goodness.
What are they saying?
Oh, just being silly.
Craziness, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
All right, so I've added this blue panel, and I'm just going to add this pink panel right along here, just to cover that edge.
Yes, happy accidents. That's exactly what these always are.
I tell you
happy accidents.
When you're on live TV, as I say, anything can happen.
I love the combination of this card you're creating right now.
Oh, super, super easy. Well, again, you've already picked out the colors, so why not just go ahead and use the materials that you've got, because you know that they match. So here I've got a piece of ephemera that I've pre-pop dotted.
Mm-hmm. Your off-camera work.
My off-camera work. So I'm going to place this at the bottom, like so, and part of it's going to overhang that cut edge. So you want to make sure that your pop dots don't show on the back. And I have punched a little piece of greenery. So, and this is one of those tried and true punches, Dawn.
Oh, is that the rock fern?
The rock fern, yes.
Mm-hmm. Did we bring any rock fern
there.
Punches over here?
We do.
Let's see. The rock fern, right there. That's called rock fern, and that is $23.49. And you just put that on the side of your desk, and then you just punch away whenever you need a little greenery for your card.
And I tell you what, everybody needs greenery.
Absolutely. Oh,
it
look
makes
at this.
such a difference.
Oh my gosh.
So we're just going to add these little flowers, and I'm just using a squirt of my liquid glue behind. And
are you using that plaid? I love that plaid.
Isn't that the cutest plaid?
It is.
So I'm just kind of bending those petals up. And then I think, because we need another little pop of black, Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Don't you agree?
Yes.
Just to kind of bring in that black that we've got on the side. And I'm always going to test my Nuvo drops before I go to my card. Because if you don't, trouble could happen.
I have where they go all over what you just created.
And we don't want that to happen on live TV. So I'm just going to add a dot of black, and you'll just watch this kind of come together to the inside.
You're absolutely right.
It just comes right together.
Oh my gosh.
And I think we should do some at the top too. So I'm going to be brave.
Donna, are you in Florida? I'm so jealous. Look at that card. That is so
Isn't that fun?
Beautiful.
So that just came together really quickly.
Holy cow! I love it. That's oh my goodness, Janet, your cards are just wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Now anybody can make these using your scraps. So if you've got leftover cardstock, leftover pattern paper, then use them while you still have everything out. Use them and make some cards, just so that you have them on hand when you need them.
Okay, what is the green dot stripe paper that Janet always uses for her greenery on her cards? The green dot stripe.
Oh, I don't think I used it in here, but I think they might be referring to Spectrum.
Authentic Spectrum.
Which is dot on one side and striped on the other side, and very tone on tone.
And you'll find that under cardstock, and go to Authentic Spectrum. And Janet, they all really like that. You're absolutely right. When you added the black dots,
it just comes together.
It did. It absolutely did.
So I thought I would show everybody a quick little grid card too.
Okay.
So this is cut, the card base is cut to 4.5 by 6.5, and this is going to fit inside an A1 envelope.
Okay.
So then I folded it at 3.25 inches. So if you watched the note card portfolio video the other day, this is the same exact size
Was that
I used.
Tuesday?
I believe it was Tuesday. Yeah.
Sun and palm trees. Oh my gosh.
Would be nice.
Rosetta, perfect timing. She says she just purchased the Mega Pad in the collection.
Oh,
well,
good.
now you have all these projects you can make with your pad. Okay, Janet is making a
Grid
card for us.
So what I'm doing is, since I have leftover ephemera, really small pieces, one thing that you can do is cut your card base down. So you're not trying to work with an A1 or an A2 card or an A7 card. Cut your card base down, and then you have less space to fill. So the other thing you can do is add a mat to the front of your card, which again reduces the visual size that you have to work with. So to start this card, I had these two pieces left over. And I thought, well, I want to use these together on the front of this card. So those, as you can see, line up really nicely like that. And then I have space at the top. And then I would just add the little flowers in.
Oh my gosh.
So that's kind of my thought process when I do these cards. I just kind of lay them out and see how they fit together.
Lori, I believe you're correct. Like most store-bought cards are going to be like the 5x7 size.
Yeah, I think that is true.
The name of this collection is Flower Garden by Carta Bella. You'll find it under New, the New tab on Memory Bound's website. Go to online shopping and then go to New, and it's Carta Bella Flower Garden is what it is.
So I've pre-pop dotted
Okay.
this little ephemera piece.
All right.
And I just want it to be slightly over from the banner. A lot of times you end up with one extra banner, and what are you going to do with it?
I know. I am looking at banners in a whole new way. I always thought banners had, and the only way I've ever used them is like a crossed
And
page.
I struggle with that, Dawn, because I have trouble figuring out, okay, what should the arc be of that, I'm very much a linear kind of girl.
Well, I'll never look at them the same. I'll tell you that much, because every ephemera pack comes with those, and the only thing I know to do is string them. So now I'm going to be doing this.
You can use them in different ways if you just think a little bit outside the box. So I have added an enamel dot to the center of each of these little flowers. And those just need to dry.
Are those flowers a punch?
They are a little die cut, and they are from the Tim Holtz Funky Florals set.
Tim Holtz Funky
And
Florals
I did not see
set.
any on the floor, but I know that they are available.
Okay, so there's like this one right here. This is called Funky Floral number 1.
It's Funky Florals number 3, I believe.
Okay.
And I had it done, and I'm just not seeing it
Which
now.
would have some little flowers. This is a really fun set now that I'm looking at this one up close. But if you want the Funky Florals number 1, let us know, and we'll get those
Oh, here it is, Dawn.
added.
I
And
believe this is Funky Florals number 3 that I used.
okay.
And so some of the flowers you've seen me use this morning are these two out of that set. But there are also several others.
Okay, so Funky Florals number 1 is that. This one's Funky Floral number 1. Oh, did I say that wrong? Okay, this is Funky Floral number 3. This is what Janet used if you want to compare. And this is Funky Floral number 1. So this is the difference. We have this one in stock, but if you want to wait for Funky Floral number 3, give us a call or send us an email, and we'll get it ordered and give you a call as soon as it comes in. Or, like Sharon's digging through her flower punches in plaid paper. Dig out your dies. Chances are you have a die set that would have some flowers.
Sure.
You might have some punches that are sitting in a box. Go dig them all out, because what a fun thing to add to your to your cards. I just love them.
None of these projects are die cut specific. You can use any dies or punches that you have. So my idea is just to give you some inspiration. Number one, make your layouts, make your cards, and then some other things that you can do with the Mega Pad. So again, on these scraps, are designs to use up your scraps from layouts. We've done the vertical strip card, the diagonal strip card, the grid card, and then this card with the 4x12 piece of cardstock cut down to 5.5 inches.
Okay.
So, and these are the same designs here. So that gives everybody hopefully some ideas.
Love them.
All right, so are we ready to move on?
We're moving on.
Okay. I have like no room here. I don't know what I've done here, but I got so much stuff. The next project I want to show everybody is a little waterfall mini album. And this was so much fun to make, Dawn.
Well, I think they're neat.
Because I called you.
I was gonna. Yeah, you did, and I have enjoyed making. I made one, and actually, I've started on my second one. This is what Janet used to make this, and this is 49 in Market Foundation's Waterfall 4x6, and it's $6.49.
So all the projects that I'm going to show you from here on out, I use the Mega Pad for. And the Mega Pad, the patterns on the Mega Pad are the same as on the 12x12 paper, but they're scaled down, which makes them great for small little projects like this. You don't have really big flowers, you have tiny little flowers. And then also the paper is smooth, it doesn't have a texture, but it's all double-sided and it's all just beautiful.
Goodness, a waboom!
It is a waboom.
Wow.
So this was just super fun to make. So basically what I did, and here's a blank one so that you could see what they look like. I covered all of the sides of these pieces in pattern paper from the Mega Pad.
Okay.
And then I just added ephemera and die cut flowers and enamel dots just to jazz it up.
Okay.
So basically that was my process. When I took a look at this, I thought, oh gosh, this is going to take me a long time to do. But in fact, it doesn't. And here's the discovery that I made. And this is why I did this on the layout. All of these little what do you call them, signatures, are the same size. So of course they are the same size, duh. They're all 3x4 and they're all offset by that folded margin. Yeah. So same principle that I used on the layout where I made all of those waterfall pieces the same size. It's the same deal here.
Nice.
So construction is the same. So when you're cutting your pieces to cover each side, they're all going to be 3x4.
3x4.
So which is great use of that Mega Pad because you can just cut the pieces in half and then use half on one side of the page and then half on another side.
Love it.
Super easy. So I just started by covering the insides, or excuse me, the fronts and backs of every page. And occasionally I wanted to add a little flip up.
A little surprise.
Yeah.
You and Katie and your surprises, I love them. I'm going to start adding more surprises because I love it.
Well, why not? Because when you have an album like this, you're not constrained by a page protector. So just think about it ahead. You just have to plan ahead.
Sure.
So to make something like this, you're just going to take a little piece of paper and score it at the top and then glue it to your page before you put your final paper down.
Sure.
So that hinge is hidden behind this paper.
So turn that to the other side so they can see.
So you don't see that hinge. So the hinge is tucked underneath this floral paper.
Yeah.
So super easy. So you just think about that ahead. You do have to plan ahead.
Yep.
And then just continue on. There's another one of those little banners. So this would accommodate 2x3 pictures really nicely, which would be a fun little size to print out. This is another one of those dies from this set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most of the dies in this are from this set. On this page, Dawn, I made a little pocket, which is like a coin envelope.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Super easy. And I have a quick demo of how to do that. For this little coin envelope, I wanted to make it big enough to accommodate this little tag. So what you want to do is just measure the width of your tag. In this case, it's 2¼ inches. So you want to make your pocket big enough to accommodate that. So I made my pocket, the front of my pocket will be 2½ inches.
Okay.
and I added another inch to it so that I would have something to fold back on either side.
Okay.
So this pocket measures 3.5 inches. And then I scored 1/2 inch in on either side. And then I scored the bottom 1/2 inch up.
Okay.
So, and you would just need to measure the length. Here I wanted it to be a little shorter than the page itself.
Okay.
So I made the length, the completed length will be 3.5 inches. So the actual length is 4 inches. You're just adding 1/2 inch on either side.
All the way around. Okay.
Yep. So then you just fold back, and then what I like to do, and the back side is not going to show, so it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. I like to just cut out these little corners. What we want to do is reduce the bulk so that it's not lumpy on the back, if that makes sense. And then you're just going to trim the corners at angles, again, just to reduce the bulk. Do you remember the gift card holder that I made at Christmas?
Yes,
This is the same kind of thing.
I love it.
So I'm just going to trim these corners off. In this case, you're not going to see the back
Right,
side
so
at
it's
all.
not going to matter.
But by folding, or by doing that trimming, everything folds together a little more cleanly. And so you would just put score tape here, here, and here. And if you wanted to get extra fancy, you could
Yes, show us how you did that.
And I think I have my hole punch somewhere.
Right here.
Oh, right here. Yeah, this is a 1-inch hole punch. I was too organized. 1-inch hole punch.
All right.
Or you could use a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and go about halfway in. And then there's your little pocket.
Genius.
Isn't that cute?
Genius.
So you could do this on any mini album.
I so love this a lot.
Then your little tag. It just fits right in there. And then just because I couldn't stop, I just used some extra cardstock just to fashion another tag. And this is a cut apart from that mega pad, as is this.
All right.
And then both of those just tuck right in there.
Gosh.
So how fun is that?
Yes.
I can't do that
I
upside
love
down.
this.
Okay, I'll just leave that out for now. So continuing on, this is a side folding page.
Oh my gosh.
So again, just like the one we did before, you would just score a piece of paper. This time you would put the score line at the side.
Oh my
and
gosh.
just fold it this way. And then that hinge is again hidden behind
It's
your
like
paper.
you've just taken a basic waterfall album and turned it into a waboom. It's amazing.
Well, super
Oh my
easy to do.
gosh.
When you're not constrained by page protectors,
Right.
you can go this way, and you can go all different directions with it. You just have to think about it a little bit ahead of time. So then on the back page,
Mary says she just got a box for Memory Bound and she doesn't even know what's in it. Oh my gosh. Well, you're going to be getting another box probably, Mary, if you like all Janet's projects today.
well, this
Oh
is
my
a really
gosh, this
fun.
is
This
so
is a
good.
pocket too, Dawn, and you might not realize it's a pocket at first, but it is indeed a pocket. So you can slip little photo mats in this, or any pieces of ephemera that you have left over, and all that is, Dawn. I don't think you would guess it, but it's a 3-inch piece of paper that is just cut diagonally.
Oh my gosh.
And you could make that, it wouldn't have to be 3 inches, it could be any size that you want to accommodate your project. I'm just going to cut this 3-inch piece of cardstock.
Janet, this ranks right up there. I always thought that Kelly's day that she did her Pink Fresh cards and scrapbook pages was my favorite video of ever. I think you might have surpassed her today.
Oh.
And we're only halfway done.
I was gonna say, we're just getting
we're
started.
only halfway
Oh.
done, everybody. Go warm up your coffee or your tea because we're
gosh.
getting going. But I have goosebumps. I want to see this. I want to see a day just like this done with when all the new Christmas lines come in. You need to pick a pad and you're going to do this again. I just would love that.
Well, thank you.
If you want to.
Truly, I mean, I'd be game for that, for sure. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. And like I said,
my gosh.
I could still be going on. 'cause
Yes.
I'm not done with this pad yet.
Oh my gosh, because the ideas are just fabulous.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, so I took this 3x3 piece of cardstock, and here I used pattern paper. You would want to choose something that's kind of non-directional, I guess.
Sure.
And basically what you're going to do is you're going to put it on your page like this.
Oh my gosh.
And then you'll put your tape, your score tape behind the bottom and the sides, and then just overlap that in the middle. So that's what I did here.
All right.
And then I just added this ephemera piece, and I left the top part free of adhesive, so you can just slip your photo mats down in here.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
Wow, wow, wow. And I love how you added I wouldn't have done that either, but look at that. It's beautiful.
Thank
Where
you.
she just added the greenery
It's one
up
of
the side.
those layered dies, and so I just cut the second layer out of a pattern paper to coordinate.
I love it.
So super fun. Now I want to talk just briefly about the front of the album, Dawn.
Okay, and before we get to that, again, the album that Janet's using is 49 in Market, Foundations Waterfall 4x6. You will find this under New and 49 in Market. I'm assuming you'll also find it under Albums in 49 in Market. You'll find these, and they come in different sizes. I think there's a 5x7 and a 4x6. Okay.
And such a fun little project to do, and it really did not take. I know it looks like it might have taken a long time, but it really didn't. So we've talked about this. Let's talk about the front of the album, because Dawn got a somewhat distressed call.
Janet was distressed.
So I had this album in front of me, and I'll just tell you what the source of my distress was. I was looking at this closure, which I absolutely love, this string closure, and I was thinking to myself, now how am I going to cover the cover of the album and work around that string closure without having to cut the paper or punch a hole? And by the time I called Dawn, I had already tried several different things, and I was not happy. And Dawn told me a little trick that you had learned from the
49 in Market class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This little closure is actually secured by a brad. And so what you do is you take your scissors, and I was a little scared to do this, and I'm not going to do it on this one, but you actually just pry that closure completely off very carefully, set it aside, cut your paper, cover your cover just like you want, and then you just take a little bit of glue and you glue it back on. And it worked like a charm. And I would never have thought to do that. I was trying to figure out how I could punch a hole or die cut a hole, and it's not that hard.
Nope,
super
it works.
Easy.
Yeah, I just did it to the one my next one I'm starting to work on, and it did work out great.
Glued back on just fine, and no one would be the wiser except for Dawn. And so I just covered the whole surface of the inside and the outside with paper to match.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Really, really
Super fun project.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I think these would be great little brag books, or for just so many different occasions.
You just want them sitting on your coffee table because they're just so cute.
You do. Super, super fun. Shall we go on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then I kept going.
Oh my gosh.
I just could not stop, and I decided to make a coaster. Because I really like making little things like this, but I just don't take the time to do it that often. So this is a little 4x4 coaster. My husband kept threatening to set his drink on it. Stop! Not that kind of a coaster. It's just a regular kind of a chipboard type coaster. But I covered it with paper from the pad. And then I used a large piece of the ephemera in the pad. And this ephemera said, "Enjoy this beautiful life," and then it had the word "together." I didn't want the "together" on there because I thought that would kind of limit the use of this.
Okay.
So I cut a word strip from the paper pad and then just covered that word "together" over.
Oh my gosh!
Well, this could be given to a friend on a
Absolutely.
birthday, but the "together" was kind of throwing me off.
Oh my gosh! But I wouldn't have thought to do that. Genius.
So that piece is kind of the foundation of it, and then after that, I just made a little floral swag or whatever. Using the same die cuts that we talked about earlier.
Oh my
gosh.
Just
a combination. So, but this is just a great way to use your dies and your punches that you have. And so in this case, I varied the greens. I think I got three different greens going. So the dark green, the medium green, and then the light green. And then the pattern paper from the pad.
Love it.
So super easy and super fun.
And you've got it sitting on a little
little easel, which we have available.
And you could put that in an envelope and send that to a friend too.
Sure.
That would send through the mail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So, okay, now probably my favorite project, Dawn.
Oh.
I had so much fun making this banner. And this is
Okay,
what it
I'm going to have to
looks
step
like.
back a little bit so we can see the whole thing.
This is what it looks like.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's
beautiful.
Thank you. It says the word bloom on it. And when I'm making a banner, I always am conscious of wanting to make a fairly short word.
Yes.
So these banners.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious isn't going to work. Oh my gosh, and look at, she used the wonky stitch rectangle die.
Yes,
I didn't see that in the beginning.
Yeah, so I made it's a banner that has a second piece behind each banner piece.
Okay.
Just to give it a little more presence. And I was looking for a way to incorporate craft because I'd used craft and I really liked craft on the layout. And I thought it would be really great to use craft on the banner. I looked online and I saw some banners that had kind of a banner behind a banner.
I like that
And
look.
I like the look too, and I thought, well, what can I do to recreate that here? So I looked in my dies, and I had the wonky stitch die, and it happened to fit perfectly behind these little banner pieces.
But I love how these hang down, and you have the scallop top, and you've got your craft, little hole reinforcements. Oh my gosh, Janet, it's so neat.
Well, thank you, Dawn. So this is the banner set that I selected, and it has 9 pieces in it. So I thought, well, I can spell I want to use 7 of the pieces. And again, an odd number for a banner. So I came up with the word bloom because it has 5 letters, and I wanted to create a symmetrical banner. So I started by picking out the pattern paper that I used on each of the banner pieces. So I wanted, since the O was in the center, I chose something unique for that for that center banner. So a unique color.
Okay. I'm going to step back so they can see.
So that one
okay.
is green.
All right.
These two have the same pattern paper. These two have the same pattern paper, and then these two have the same pattern paper to kind of bring it together.
Would not have done that. I like it.
Well, thanks. And for all of the banners, I left the tops open. I just left them natural.
Oh.
Except for the last 2. I used the top off of this one on the outside banner. So just to give a little bit of punctuation to the ends.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then I used my Tim Holtz dies, alphabet dies.
What font is that?
That is the,
I didn't know we
have the lowercase version of it, but we are out of the uppercase version of it.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
It's the alphabet that if you saw my Charleston album back in August, same alphabet set that I've used for a lot of different projects. So I used it on the layout and then here as well. But if any alphabet set that you have would work. And then I just die cut ovals to go behind them.
Jeez.
So super easy. And then I used my 3/4 inch punch to make reinforcement holes.
This one's called alphanumeric shadow lower, but she used upper.
I did use upper.
And you just use the insides of the letters?
Yeah,
is that what you're doing? And not the shadow. Okay. All right.
And for the hole reinforcements, Donna, instead of using the 1/2 inch circle punch like we often do, I used a 3/4 inch circle punch to make them a little bit bigger. And then I just decorated symmetrically the letters with flowers and die cut leaves. And then a little bit of Nuvo drops on the bottom of some of the banners. And I used Nuvo drops in Neptune for those.
Okay. Janet's favorite color,
It is.
Neptune.
It is.
I like it too. It's a good color.
So I love doing this, Donna. It was just so much fun. So then I was picking up my craft table and looking at my scraps, and I had 2 banner pieces left over, and I was just getting ready to bring them back to the store. Am I running past time?
It's okay. Kelly says she needs that alphabet.
And I had 2 left, and I decided to turn them into cards.
Oh my goodness, what the heck?
Same banner piece. This is a pumpkin pie piece. And my husband said to remind everyone you could also make pizza.
Oh my goodness.
And then this is like a circus birthday hat.
Oh my gosh, Janet, that is thinking outside the box.
So why leave those banner pieces unused? So
give thanks,
ideas.
eat pie.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. The banner set that Janet used is scallop tags by Paper Accents. I do not know if these are online, but if they're not, I will get them online after the video, or you can call. They're $3.99. They're pretty thick chipboard, and you get 9. Yeah, they're 4x6, and they're pretty thick. I would say these are really thick, actually. Okay,
they're really
gosh.
nice.
Oh my goodness.
Really nice. And they are also, they're craft on one side and white on the other.
So you can choose whichever side you want.
Yeah.
So cute.
So then, let's see, I was coming to the end of my projects and I had pad paper left over, so I decided to make cards.
Okay.
And you can make a lot of different card designs with the pad paper. And so I came up with a few for you. So if you have full sheets of kind of the busier paper, like full sheets of like this type of paper that has a pattern all over,
okay,
you can make this type of card, which is super easy. It just has a flap that's hidden.
Cute.
And then goes around the front.
Okay.
So super easy to do.
Very cute.
You can also make a grid card with the same size cut apart pieces. A lot of times in a pad you will have square pieces or you will have rectangular pieces that you can cut apart.
Okay.
So if you line them all up, Dawn,
I
you
like
can make
it.
a super easy card like that. So these are just 4 of the same size pieces, or if you don't want to use 4 cut aparts, you just cut a piece of paper to match the size. And then just add them to your card. So
very cute.
Super easy. So grids are my favorite. Word strips. A lot of times paper pads will have word strips included in them. So this is a super easy design. 3-inch strip of paper across the bottom. And I use the same color scheme, but just the opposites.
Oh,
and then a
got
1-inch
it.
here, and then a word strip and some greenery and flowers.
And is that an A2 or like an A6?
They're both A2 cards.
They look bigger. Visually, they look bigger.
But that could not be simpler. And I would just love to have these in my card box.
Absolutely.
For when I need them. So then if you've run out of...
and what is this? What is that from?
That is from the Tim Holtz Funky Florals.
Floral number 3?
Yeah, a lot of these are layered dies, Dawn, so there's a second piece that you cut to fit over the top of it.
Let's look at that up close, because
isn't that
that's
neat?
really, really fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I used that a few times. So all of these, if you look carefully, they have, many of them have a second die that you can cut to add that second layer.
Oh my gosh.
So then the other thing that I like to do is tags. And if you don't want to use them as tags, standalone tags, you could always put them on the front of a card, just like so. It would be easy to add to a card. But I just love having a tag to hang on a gift bag, or attached to a little plant or something like that for a gift.
Oh my gosh!
So again, you're working with a smaller surface, so this is a great way to use up all of your ephemera.
Your little ephemera, yes.
Yeah, so you can see it. Then I finally came to my very end.
Your last piece of ephemera.
I need a small tag
to
use that last piece up, but with that I had used all of the pieces.
Planting a garden is to believe in the future. Oh gosh. And look at how, I like how she used, that's what I would consider like a flower die, but Janet used it like as a leaf.
Yeah.
It's perfect. In nature, there's all that. So thinking outside the box, I love it.
So I have some tips here that you can screenshot later, Dawn, and I also gave everybody the names of the fonts that I used today.
Thank you.
Because I thought that some people might ask about that. But one thing that I do when I'm...
Hey, before you get going, I want to said you can also put a pocket on the back of your tag and use it as a gift card holder.
What a great idea.
That is,
I've never thought to do that. That's a super idea.
Yes. Shelley wants to know how long it took you to come up with all of these creations.
Oh, it took a few hours, but not as long as you might think. Because once you have like a few designs that are your go-to designs for cards, every time you have scraps, you can kind of repeat those designs. And you don't have to think, because you know, okay, I have this good design I can use. So that was my goal today, is to give you some designs that you can have as your go-to designs when you have leftover pad paper or leftover layout paper. They're sort of your tried and true designs that you can use every single time.
Very good tip, Janet.
I know we're running late on time, so we can wrap it up.
Okay, all right, go ahead, finish.
No, that is it. That is it. If you have any questions, we can address those.
I'll be posting all of these pictures on, Karen says hours, it would have taken her weeks. I'll be posting pictures of everything that Janet covered today on the Facebook after we're done here. So you can hopefully copy all of Diane just walked by, Janet's ideas today, because they are super spectacular. Just to review, she used the 6x6 mega pad from Flower Garden. She used the ephemera, or there's frames and tags that go with it. And then she used the enamel dots. And for her layouts, she used some of the 12 by 12 papers that are in that collection. But we will, if there's any of the dies or anything that you saw that you liked that we don't have, just give us a call, send us an email, and we'll be happy to order it for you. Janet, thank you. It was welcome. Amazing.
You are welcome.
I think it's my new favorite. Don't tell Kelly. Kelly, are you still watching? I hope you're not still watching, because it's my favorite.
That's very sweet of you.
And give us a thumbs up if you'd like to see this done in a Christmas line this fall. I think we need to, Janet.
I'm game for it.
I think it'd be amazing. Lots of hearts.
All right.
We're here today until 4, and Memory Bound is open tomorrow, 10 to 4, and Sunday, noon to 4. So we hope to see you. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.